3, 2, 1. Holy cow!
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Good morning. It's about 10:30. Hey, look, I don't really have a job, so what do I gotta wake up early for, right? Wake up when I wake up, take a good dump, have a cup of coffee, and then see what the day brings. You know what I mean? I've got no real schedule other than the fact that I know that I have to get going on this if I'm ever gonna get this damn thing out of my garage, right? But as always, there's always something else going on, you know what I mean? So, like I told you guys, my friend Mike Lynch, he's the father of one of my son's friends when they were in high school. We used to shoot off our fireworks in his backyard because he doesn't care what the neighbors say about the fireworks, It's kind of interesting here in Suffolk County. Suffolk County, it's the... if you look at the island of Long Island, right? It's New York City over here, in Nassau County, right? And then half of that island, the rest of it out east, is all Suffolk County. I'm on that border between Nassau and Suffolk on the north end, yeah? And then if you go out to the end, there's this hook, right? North Fork, and then over here is Montauk, right? And just before Montauk is the Hamptons. Yeah. That's where all the rich people and celebrities own homes, in the Hamptons, right? West Hampton, Southampton, you guys have heard of it, I'm going out to the Hamptons for the weekend. Yeah, that's how they talk. Anyway, so rich people, Madonna, all Gaga, all these people, they have homes there, famous celebrities. What's my point again? Oh, right, okay, so when I used to live in the city, right, you could shoot off fireworks during Chinese New Year and 4th of July. It was like a battlefield. It was fine, right? That was the fun days. Until Rudy Giuliani took over as mayor. He screwed everything up. Made a law banning fireworks for people like regular people, People like Grucci and, organized whatever stuff. They can shoot off fireworks for an event. But you can't just freely shoot off fireworks. So he screwed all the fun up, right? He did do a good job as mayor, though, I will tell you that. Now I think he's a little bit of a nut job. But anyway, getting back to that is, so they screwed everything up, right? And ever since then, it's been like Chinese New Year used to be a lot of fun to go down to Chinatown and shoot off fireworks all crazy like that, right? But then now you can't do that. Now they just have these streamers. Oh, celebrate, confetti, all that stuff. So Nassau County is just like really quiet. Like the 4th of July, for instance, not one firecracker goes off in that entire county, okay? Suffolk County is a different story. Because Suffolk County encompasses the entire half of that entire island, right? There's a lot of space, a lot of room, a lot of people, right? Small police force. You can't stop everybody from shooting off fireworks, right? So they don't bother. So the rules, while they are banned, you're not allowed to shoot off fireworks, right? Maybe the 4th of July, they're a little bit more lenient, you know what I mean? Even cops like to watch fireworks, right? But they just don't have the manpower to stop everybody from shooting off fireworks. So as a result, on the 4th of July here in Suffolk County, it's like Afghanistan! Holy mortars going off all over. It's like Afghanistan. I love it, okay? I just absolutely love it. So you guys know, my cousin and I, we love fireworks. So we go to Pennsylvania and pick up some fireworks every year, And then we have a good show over here. Invite a couple good friends over and hang out in the backyard and shoot fireworks. But the wife doesn't like the fireworks in our backyard anymore because she's got to clean up the next day, There's streamers and stuff all over the place. There's sticks everywhere in the neighbor's yard. They throw it over the fence, whatever. So this guy, Mike Lynch, is a good guy. He loves fireworks too. And I actually introduced him to shooting off his own your own fireworks because I invited him to one of my things and I let him shoot them off. And he was once you light a mortar off yourself, right? That's it. You're set for life. You always want to shoot off fireworks. So every year I was like, "Oh, Henry, you gonna have fireworks this year?" I'm like, "I don't know, Mike. The wife doesn't like to clean up the next day." He's like, "Oh, well, nobody likes to clean up. I know, but I don't think she wants to do it in our backyard anymore, right?" And he says, Oh, come over to my house, you know. You could shoot off fireworks in my house. He's got a good set of property, you know, and his neighbors are kind of far away from him, not so close like I am, you know. And he's got these huge pine trees that are surrounding his backyard. You can't even see who the hell's shooting off fireworks, you know what I mean? So, perfect situation. He's got a pool there, too, so in case you have a fire, you can just, like, douse the flames. Anyway, and his wife is Hungarian, I want to say, or I don't remember. Anyway, so she's cool with it too. So, you know, every year I go over to his house to shoot off fireworks. So as you guys recall, maybe a year ago, he gave me this, he found out about mowers and blowers and he started watching. He goes, hey, Henry, I love your show. It's so entertaining, you know. I'm like, thank you. And he goes, listen, I've got this. And I go, oh, here it comes. Listen, I got this old power washer. Hasn't run in years in my garage. I got to get rid of it, whatever, or at least try to fix it or something. Can you take a look at it for me? And I'm like this. Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at it for you. So anyway, so I did a video on that, right? Fixed it and all that stuff. It didn't really seem like a lot of power at all. It was really old, you know what I mean? I mean, it didn't have more power than maybe a garden hose with a nice fitting on it, you know what I mean? So I ended up trading that with somebody, whatever, because he didn't want it back. He says, oh, just get rid of it. I don't want it back. And so, like I said, I got another power washer from my neighbor who just throwing it out. There's nothing wrong with it. Works great. I even help Hope get some algae off, whatever. Works fine. It's a Ratto engine, you know? Honda clone. Anyway, I know I can get like 125, 150 bucks for it, you know what I mean? So it's sitting in my thing all winter. I don't even know if it starts, but turn on my water today. I didn't turn on my sprinklers, but I turned on my water, which means I could put a hose to the water valve and try it without my sprinklers actually being on and flooding the sprinklers on the ground, you know what I mean? I'm going to do that later. But I did turn the water on, so I could put a garden hose on it and test it today. And I don't know if it starts because I think I left the gas in too. I've got so many machines, I can't keep track of what has gas and what doesn't have gas in it. I had like 50 things last year, you know. I did sell like 20 mowers so far and about 8 or 10 riding mowers in the past couple of months, which is great. I've cleared out my hoard considerably. So I'm going to go and yank that power washer on, put a garden hose for the first time this year onto my faucet or valve, and we're going to try and start it up. Now, he's going to come later on to pick it up. He thinks I'm going to sell it to him. But I feel kind of funny about selling it to him because he gave me his. You know what I mean? I think as a good person, I should just give it to him. You know what I mean? But then if he insists on giving me money, what am I going to do? Not take money? You know what I mean? But we'll see how things go. After that, I promise, we're going to find out why this damn thing has no compression, okay? So as you can see, hey, Bobo. His name's Boba, but I just want to call him Bobo. He looks like a Bobo, you know? But Bobos are usually like monkeys, you know? Here, Boba, look. People, you have a fan club. A lot of people like you. Anyway, look, under this tent here, it's filled with lawnmowers just like a month ago. All gone. I've got like one push mower left in my van. And then I'll be done with lawnmowers. That is until I pick another one up, you know what I mean? Anyway, so the power washers are in here, along with my Toro 616Z as in Zulu. Stands for zero turn. Right, Boba? Boba, stop eating grass. So my dog, Boba, he eats grass sometimes, and you know what he does? He throws up. He throws up grass. So why do you eat it if you're going to throw up? Doesn't make any sense. I completely forgot about this. I don't know where I got this from. And here's my power washer that I'm gonna give Mike. Got this from my neighbor. It works. At least the last time I tried it, it worked. We'll find out today. Let's see if I left gas in here, because I think I did. You know, this muffler cover is in complete disarray. Oh, it has this mesh thing, so you can't even look in. Gotta pull it out. Yep, there's gas in there. Not a lot, but there is gas, and it looks clean. What do you think? Should I just like try it and see?
Henry, you shouldn't start it without a garden hose on there.
Well, just for a second.
But you could break it.
All right, so there has a fuel shutoff, which I'm opening now. And I'm going to put it to start, which is choke. So I'm just going to pull it and see if it starts. Remember, it's been here all winter with gas in it. Where's the damn pull cord? Oh. All right, so I'm just going to start it real quick and just see if it fires up, and then I'll shut it off. Are you ready? Here we go. Auto choke. No primer. Open. You know, maybe it needs more gas. Alright, so I just put some gas in. Trickle, trickle, trickle. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. It's an engine switch on and off. Just turned it on. No problem. I'm gonna go hook up my garden hose. So I'm in the backyard. I've got one of these new snake hoses that I got. I mean, I've had snake hoses my whole life, but I got this new one because Bob always chews on them. Anyway, you guys should, if you're gonna get snake hoses, get the one with the brass fittings, because the plastic orange ones, they always get stripped. They don't work. So I'm just attaching my water hose here. I'm gonna turn it on, turn on the water. Okay, I got the water turned on. Switch to on. Still choked. Let's see. What the heck? Nice. Works just fine. I wonder if I leave the hose out like that, if he'll bite the hose. Only one way to find out. Okay, so sorry about that super long monologue, but wanted to tell you guys about the whole deal, you know what I mean? So you know I mean business when I got my old dirty clothes on. Found these track pants now. I'm gonna get these. These will be black by the time I do a couple of episodes. So right now we're gonna find out why this Murray 12.5 Briggs single-cylinder flathead engine has zero compression. This is a Murray 40-inch deck, right? And this is mower number 7 for my Mondo Mowers trade. If you guys are new to the channel and you don't know what I'm talking about, catch up. I've got about 900 or so videos. I'm going to do a giveaway at my 1000th episode. Anyway, so I'm going to remove the hood first so we can have room to move things around. And also, so we have 0 PSI compression, right? And what's also kind of troublesome to me is that there was no spark. There's really no reason why, if the flywheel turns on its own, you know, through the starter, right? it's spinning. The magnets contacting the magnetomagnets should create a spark. Unless there's something wrong with the ignition kill wire that's attached to the magneto, or if the air gap is not within the 10/1000ths of millimeter? Inch? I forget. But anyway, if it's too wide apart, it's not going to create a spark. Or the magneto's busted, or the wire's chewed up by mice. So it could be a lot of things. We won't find that out until we take the cover off and the hood. First, the hood. So removing the hood from Murray's is not really super easy. The easiest tractors to remove it from is John Deere's and Craftsman, where you just tilt it and lift up and it's done. Here there are 2 bolts holding the hood on. I'm going to loosen them first. So actually, this one is a little different. I've got it propped up, the camera propped up on the engine block here, so that you guys can see. So it's a clip here. Come on, man. Okay. So that clip is gone, so now I can move this rod. And move this out over here. And then pull this one out. Eureka! Kansas. Eureka, Kansas. Say, that wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. Disconnect the lights. Put the hood away. And as you can see, I've got my compression tester on here that showed 0 you know what, while we have it still plugged in, let's just check again. Oh, my subscriber Mike Peltz told me, hey Henry, is there a quick disconnect on your compression tester? Because I was having trouble in cramped spaces turning it with the hood on, you know. There is, but it still remains that, see the quick disconnect is here? It still remains that this is still long, you know what I mean? So I would still have to do that to, you know what I mean? It's less, it's better, but yeah, there is a quick disconnect, but it's the wrong side. I wish the quick disconnect was here, you know? But I never knew that there was a quick disconnect. Thanks, Mike! So, here, let's just test the compression again. That's weird, because I feel some compression. Really want to test it? Check this out. See if the piston moves. Ready? Ooh, look. Nothing is moving. So you know what that means, fellas? We have found out what the problem is. The connecting rod is broken. The piston is stuck here. Won't move. Oh, actually, wait a minute. It's a flathead. So it's the valves. It's not even attached. There's no bolts on here. Magneto kill is not even attached to the magneto. Magneto looks like it's been cut and then taped back together again, which is the reason why we have no compression, no spark. Let's just test for spark again. Oh, wait a minute. There's plenty of spark. I'm going to show you.
Henry. Henry, we love how you give us these cool angles.
Well, I go through the time to do it, okay? Ready? Check it out. Good spark. Good spark. But zero compression. Zero. Just feels loose. Looks like it's gapped correctly. That's weird how there was no spark before, but then when we remove the cover, there is spark. There is a possibility that, no, there's no possibility, because I was thinking that maybe since this was loose, maybe this was hooked on like that. Not hooked, but just touching like the corner, and that grounds it out completely. But then when you move it off, it's not connected to any metal. It doesn't ground this out, so that's why there's spark. I don't know, maybe. So you know what we're gonna do? I've looked around. There doesn't seem to be any holes anywhere, but we're not gonna find out for sure until we just take this tin off first, and then the head. Gonna have to just take the head off. You know what I mean? As you can see, there was mice in here, and it has been kind of cleaned out. Ugh! Guess what? There's a mouse in there. Baby one. Yep, there's a baby mouse in there.
Where, Henry? We want to see.
I believe this is a baby mouse. Yep. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not an expert in mice. Although I should be, given I've had so many tractors with mouse nests. Oh. Half inch. See how these bolts over here are dark? Means it leaks. Half inch. Okay, here we go. Let's take off the head. Very easy to take off. Am I missing one there? I could be missing one there, which could be the cause. You know what? Let's take it off anyway and see. But that could be it. If there's missing a bolt here, right? The head is not securely placed on there, and you got to have air gaps. If there's any air gaps, not gonna work. Is that it? That's it. Here we go. What do you guys think? Stuck valves or blown connecting rod?
Henry, shut up and hurry up.
All right. Gasket is Dunsky. I don't know where I'm going to get another gasket from. All right, ready? Connecting rod is not blown. However, the valves are stuck. See? Doesn't move. The valve is stuck. That's the reason why there's no compression. Looks like it's just the intake. The intake one is stuck. The exhaust one still moves. And seems to be seated properly. Because you can't turn it. It's not loose. So, let's just bang this in a little bit. Tap it, you know? Not bang it, tap it. So if that one's already open, we have to give this room. Top dead center. let's put some penetrating oil in there. Today I'm using penetrating oil from my friends over at Lucas Oil Products.
Henry, you always use Lucas oil.
Yes, I do. Hello. Ooh, it's really on there, fellers. Let's do a little bit more tapping. It's going in. Okay. Now it's closed and seated. Let's see now if the cam will push it out. Wow, that's stiff, but it's pushing. Look at that. See? So we're just going to loosen it like that. It's no way is it going to come out, go back in by itself. See? You have to actually remove this and clean it out. But I have loosened it before this way. See? It's easy. Every time you do it, it's easier. There you go. Spray some more penetrating oil in the hole. Drown it. Let it soak in there. And tap it back in. See? It's a lot easier now to move. Well, it's good that the connecting rod's not busted. So if you just keep doing that many, many times, it should be able to retract by itself. My daughter behind me is blowing bubbles. So you guys might see some bubbles flying around. So this is what's called a sticky valve. And sticky valves are a common problem when you have no compression. So the corrosion or carbon in it, right, is so great of a buildup that it's causing more tension than the spring will allow. See, every time I do it, it's much easier to push in. So it's loosening up. I want to get it to a point where it'll go in by itself.
Henry, why don't you just take out the valve and clean it?
Have you ever taken out a valve? It's a lot of work. All this off on this side, take the breather cover off. Try to get those keepers off of it, which is like a nightmare in itself. Got to get a spring compressor, which I have, but it's a pain in the butt to compress the spring. Take the keeper off, right? Pull it out, then clean it, and not to mention the guide still could have a lot of buildups, which means you need to kind of sort of find the exact drill bit that is a little bit smaller or exactly the same diameter as the valve guide inside and drill out the crap. What if you slip and just move it a little bit? The drill will over drill the valve guide, and then you're going to have play in the valve. So the risk does not equate the reward. But what we can do is try doing what I'm doing. See, look at that. I could even just push that with my hands. It's becoming so loose now. More penetrating oil in there. Moving it back and forth. It will go back down by itself because I have, look, watch. Easy. So I'm just going to move it around. See? Until it goes, ooh, look, look, look. It's going back in. This is the exhaust stroke because it's not completely closed. The next rotation at top dead center should be the compression stroke. And it should close all the way, but it doesn't yet, see? But it's close. We're very close. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have it come out all the way like that. want to make sure nothing's touching it.
Move your hand, Henry, I can't see.
The more I turn it, the more carbon will rub off the guide, and hopefully we'll get more lubricated. Let's spray some more in there.
Henry, you're making a mess.
Shut up. Nobody said engine work was supposed to be clean.
But Henry, you're wearing all white.
Anyway, I'm going to work on this a bit, try to work it out. Okay, fellas, I've been at this a while. Check this out. Look at the intake valve. Closes and seats on its own and is seated properly. It doesn't move. If it was super loose, right, you'd be able to take 2 fingers and you'd be able to turn it. I will tell you this, though. The inside, the cylinder wall, even though I wiped it, right, every time it goes over, there's oil, which means I think the rings are bad too. Not to mention the fact that the cylinder wall is not smooth. There's quite a bit of scoring on the end part. I wouldn't be surprised because seems like there's a lot of carbon, you know what I mean? That's the evidence of the carbon. If you look at the head itself, there's some carbon buildup, you know what I mean? But the carbon and it's sitting for a while and water in here will cause it to, I guess, corrode like that and get stuck, you know. But actually, it seems like it's moving by itself pretty well now, see? And seats. If for some miracle we do start to get some kind of compression, I am weary about it smoking a lot because the rings don't seem to be very good. And it's very rough here. I mean, there's no major gouges except the first 2 inches here where it's darker. If you guys see in here, it's lighter on the inside, and right around 2 inches from here in, it's rough. Should I get some sandpaper and smooth that out? Because the more you do, though, the rings, well, if it's rough, the rings will have openings for oil to get out. If you smooth it out, at least the rings will. It's better to smooth it out, of course, but if you're not precise with the smoothing, you're going to cause areas around the rings that will seep oil through there, and therefore smoke. So, and also the gasket's bad. You know what I mean? I mean, I could probably get away with just putting it on there really tight. And I might have to go and look in my box of parts. I think I might have 2 heads like this that may have a good gasket. You know, it's just the top layer of this gasket is gone, like right there and here. But that's a significant amount of material that's missing, you know. I mean, I could try to RTV that area there. So what I want to do is I want to grind this clean. And the material's still here. You see what I'm saying? So if I grind it clean, that material will be gone. But if I put it back on here as it is, it might work, but I would like to clean this up. But I can't clean it up if I'm going to grind it, you know? Decisions. And remember, I'm not building this perfect. I just want to see if we have increased compression, you know? I'm not going to go through all that trouble if it's not going to work no matter what we do, you know? And get a new gasket. If I get a new gasket, I have to grind this all down. Grind that down. Put the gasket on. And then try. And if it fails, I just wasted that gasket. I could just put this on and see if it works. You know what? Let's do that. Let's just put this back on the way it was. I'll find another bolt, and that'll increase the compression because this didn't have a bolt, remember? So we're just going to put this back on. I'll keep one out so I can go and compare in my box of bolts. If I can find another one. As you remember, this was missing, right? There was not one in here. That's why it's so dark and black, because oil kept on coming out. And you can indeed put one in there. So it is missing a bolt in there. So I'm going to find another bolt like that and put this back on. Okay, fellas. I put the head on, and I just torqued it down with the impact wrench, the DeWalt one. I've tested many times. It comes very close to actual specs of the Briggs & Stratton. 200 or so inch-pounds, which converts to about 18.3 foot-pounds, and that comes very close, within, 10 or 5, pounds or inches. So it's on here pretty well, and I did find a bolt exactly the same, and so that's in there. So that ought to increase the compression right there, just because we have that extra bolt in there that's holding it down. We don't know about the gasket, whether or not it'll work or not, but it looks like we freed up that valve. You know what I mean? So I put the spark plug back in again, and I connected the magneto wire in here, and we're going to crank it and see if we have more compression. Okay, so we're going to crank it. Here we go. Definitely much more compression. Definitely. You know what? Let's spray some go-go juice in the carb, huh? Let's take that, let's take this box off. All right. Looks like we got some compression now, fellers. From 0, let's find out from 0. Uh-huh. No air cleaner. Unchoke it so the flap opens so you can get the go-go juice in there. Close the choke back on. Let's see if it'll turn over. What do you guys think? Think it'll work? Let's see. Nada. I can smell the ether, if it's ether. That's quite a bit of juice. Try it again. You know what? Let me take this magneto wire off, because that could be a problem. If you take the magneto wire off, nothing's stopping this from sparking. Okay? Let's see. We definitely have spark now. You know why? Because I saw this ignite. Definitely has more compression, for sure. Let's try some more go-go juice. So something's up with the ignition switch and the kill. That's quite a bit. Yeah! Turned over, fellas! Yeah! Hey, let's take the spark plug out and check the compression. Got the compression tester back in there now. Let's crank it and see. $50. 50's terrible. 50's terrible, but it ran. You know what we need to do? We need to try to run this more. If you run it more, things start lubricating up better, right? And then the compression will increase as it moves. It moves back and forth. The piston slowly cleans out the cylinder walls more. Stuff inside, the joints, lubrication, everything seals things. It does get better, but 50 though? 50's pretty sucky if you ask me, because even that one with the grinded down valves is 75 and it won't stay running, But every engine is different, and I'm willing to give it a try. And of course, there is a bad gasket in here, which means that since we do now know it turns over, right, it will be worth it to go and find another gasket and replace it, clean out the head and stuff, right? But I want to see this thing running, though. not just turning over. So I have to try to get some a fuel source to the carburetor, and that gas tank is yucky. So, but I mean, maybe I'll just dump some fuel in there and just see, you know. And the carburetor could be completely trashed. You just don't know the situation. But that's how we're going to move forward, though. But I'm still worried about this magneto kill, though, because when it's on there, right, it won't start. So this causes it not to start, you know. So I might have to bypass it by simply taking a better wire. This is all chewed up. A wire that goes right from the magneto straight to the M tab on the ignition switch. That will ensure that it will shut off and turn on when you need it to. Because this thing goes through all kinds of safety switches and stuff, you know what I mean? So what did I do now? Okay, so we need fuel. I'm just gonna put some fuel in the gas tank and see what happens. So I just put some gas in, and because we're testing it so much without it actually running, I put a battery charger onto it too, so it'll always be charged. Put gas in it. There doesn't seem to be any leaks as of yet. This fuel line is so hard and brittle. I'm not even sure if it's getting any fuel, but we'll find out. Let's give it a couple of cranks and see. Choke. Go-go juice. Choke it again. Okay, so it starts with go-go juice, which means fuel is not getting into the carburetor. Oh boy, looks like I'm gonna have to remove the carburetor. So as you guys saw, I cleaned out the carburetor. The Nicky carb was a little bit hinky. It looked like it might have been missing some things, because Nicky carbs, even the copied ones, when you take it out, the gasket's like all loose and stuff, and there might be a spring in there, and also that jet is very loose in there. So I don't really think that'll work. I have another carb I can just put on there if this doesn't work, but it seems like fuel is flowing freely from the gas tank through the fuel line into the carburetor. So let's give it a try. Reason why I shut it off is because the magneto wire is not connected onto the magneto, right? Also, I wasn't sure how much oil was in there. As usual, I always forget. So I shut it off just in an abundance of caution. Fortunately, it looks like it's good oil. It's clear, clean. Just see how much there is in it before we run it any longer. It's got plenty of oil. Oil is clean, and it's up to the add line, so there's plenty of oil in here to run it. So that's good. Let me try that magneto wire again. I don't think it's going to work, though. But how about it? Started, ran, stayed running. Sounds okay. Should be a lot of smoke coming out because, remember, we shot penetrating oil in there, and anyway, so let's see now. See, it won't start with the magneto wire on there, which means that there's something wrong with the magneto wire, you know? It's not grounding itself. I mean, it's grounded, period. You know what I mean? So, something wrong with the magneto wire. So, it's not going to start if it's there. So, I'm just going to have to choke it whenever I want to shut it off. So, let's run it a little bit longer, okay? Still doesn't want to start. Oh. Choke is kind of stuck. There we go. So you know why I stopped it is because you couldn't lower the throttle. The throttle linkage here is twisted. It's twisted and bent the wrong way. So it was getting hung up and it wouldn't allow it to low throttle. So you're going to bend it upwards a little. Because it was getting stuck on here. It wouldn't go back down. Because this thing is in the way. Whoever had this tractor last didn't really know what they're doing. Not saying I do. I'm just saying I've done quite a lot of it already, you know. I'm not a mechanic, and I've said that so many times. I'm not a mechanic. But I've done it so many times that I kind of know how to do it. That seems like it might be right. Let's try. Very good. Very good. So you guys can see muffler is very loose. Might have to take this cover off, right? And tighten the bolts on that muffler. How about it? Got the engine to run just fine. I'm probably just gonna leave it like this for a while and see how well that does. If it has trouble starting again later because of low compression situation, probably change that head gasket somehow, clean that up a bit. But so far right now it's running good. I have to run a magneto wire from the ignition switch to the magneto. I'm going to tighten these bolts too. Hey, so as you guys saw, my friend Mike came by and picked up the power washer, and he was about to give me money, and I says, no, we're friends, just take it. So he was almost insistent, but he accepted. I'm very happy to give it to him because, well, goes around, comes around. He gave me one, I'll give him one. Anyway, so while my battery was charging, right, I put everything together again, and I figured out why my magneto kill wire wasn't killing. I'll show you. Here's the magneto kill wire, right? It leads to the yellow wire. The yellow wire leads to the magneto kill tab on the ignition switch. I actually tried to remove the entire dash, because that's the only way to get to the ignition switch is removing the whole dash, but it looked like to lift the dash I had to remove the steering wheel too to lift this up, which is completely ridiculous. So finally I said screw it, I put everything back together again because it didn't look easy to take off. So I loosened the nut off of the ignition switch here, and I reached my hand with the other hand all the way inside, underneath, behind the gas tank, and I pulled the wiring harness off the ignition, right? Then took the ignition out. There was two yellow ones. This yellow one goes straight to it, and then there's another wire that comes out of it together. There's two wires that go into the same tab. That other yellow wire leads to the switches, the safety switches. You remember that loose yellow wire that was just hanging out? And I says, oh, I bet you that does something, right? But this is probably for the seat safety, which is the reason why it didn't work. So actually, I don't have to connect it, but it doesn't lead anywhere. You know why? Because I cut the wire from the ignition switch. So now the mower starts, runs, and shuts off from the switch, okay? I put the engine cover back on. I put all the tins back on. I put the carburetor and the air cleaner base. I put everything back on. The only thing I'm missing is this cover over here for the starter gear, which I have. But it's cracked, so I crazy glued it and then clamped it just for a little while until it cures. I put the hood back on. And I'm just going to start it for you and show you. And it charges the battery too. Starts, runs, has lights, shuts off, and the battery charges. From zero compression to perfectly working. Tomorrow we'll find out if it drives forward and backwards, and we'll see if the PTO works. But one step at a time. Tune in to tomorrow's episode. It'll be part 3 of my Murray 12.540 from zero compression to running. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.